Wabarakatuh. My name is Supriya Maranthumazli, and for the relic and reclamation final presentation project, I am pairing up with Muhammad Azim, and we have been given a site which is located at Batu Gajah called Tanjung Tualang Tin Dredge number 5. So basically this site is an important historical site that exhibits the history of the tin mining industry since the beginning in Malaysia. And it has going through more than 10 million worth of restoration project, and to keep the tin dredge as into a museum to keep the monument alive. So after doing some mini analysis and synthesis for this site, we found out that the visual quality and architecture image of the site is quite low, because we found out that the attractive heritage museum landscaping that will lead to the forgotten history, because at this site only the kapal tu sendiri they are attractive to the users, but the landscaping are not really well developed, and plus the poor harmony between the context of the museum with the users interaction. So we came up with the synthesis where the restoration of the surrounding area of TT5 can to show the identity of the museum as the center of attraction at Tanjung Tualang. Okay, next is the hydrology and vegetation. We came up with the analysis where the wasted potential of a valuable land and water resource because they are not being developed properly. And then secondly is the landscape surrounding that are left undeveloped will possibly create contaminations in the future. So we came up with the synthesis where we wanted to develop recreational areas that will fulfill the surrounding natural resources in terms of the functional and aesthetical quality for the users. So we came up with the design team which is Tourist Historical Park, where we want to reclaim the TT5 surrounding landscaping to be a historical park for the tourist attraction. So some of the reclamation strategies, because we want to preserve the history of the TT5 as one of the most important important historical site in Perak, we would like to fulfill it by creating historical recreational park that educate the tourists about the historical values of TT5 dredge, and also by creating food center that implements the TT5 dredge elements such as sculpture and rustic hardscapes. And then secondly, we want to enhance the existing tourist planning area for the tourist experience. So by developing a waiting area for the tourists to wait for their turns to do the planning activities, and then by redesigning the planning activity area and the architecture image to look more aesthetic for the users. And lastly we want to enhance the surrounding resource for the tourists to experience the history of the site, which is by providing glamping sites that are surrounded by ethnobotanical plantings, and also by creating historical recreational park that educate the tourists about the historical values of the TT5 dredge, which has playground and the sculpture garden in the historical park. So we found out a case study which is located at the Fort Canning Park, Singapore, where it is the most historic landmarks, because there are many war relics from the Singapore's colourful history that have survived on the hill and are still visible until today. So for the design concept, our design concept is the 9 warisan, where the 9 means traces of the users in the forest, while warisan refers to the historical elements or relics from the past. And so the 9 warisan means trail that connect the users to each of the proposed areas with historical elements or relics from the past. So for the space programming, we came up with 8 areas. First one is the historical relics cafe, historical park, glamping site, planning area, lake trail, water-based recreational area, vehicle accommodation for parking, and also assembly point for the users to gather. So next is the functional diagrams, and for this one I will pass to Azim to present until the second board. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Azim, and I will continue with the functional diagram. Okay, the first functional diagram is the zoning, Okay, we can see here that the historical park is purple in color, the vehicle assembly point is in every color. Okay, the second functional diagram is the circulation. Okay, we have the main road for vehicle, pedestrian trail, secondary road for both pedestrian and the vehicle. Okay, the third FD, the third functional diagram is for the activities. Okay, for the activities we have waiting area, double panning, the vehicle parking, open spaces, interactive, and others, etc. Okay, moving on, we have our schematic plan, and our preliminary plan. Okay, moving on to the master plan. This is our master plan, and our master plan is in scale 1 to 1000. Okay, under the master plan, there's a section AA. The scale for the section is 1 to 500. And in this section, we can see that there is decking for the visitors to cross around the pond in the sculpture garden that tells the stories of the 35. Okay, there's sketches for the sculpture garden under the section AA, and for the section BB, we can see that there's a camping site, and above the section BB, we can see that we can see the sketches for the camping site. Okay, next to the camping site, there's a panning area, then to the right, there's a boat rental area, and Tanjung and 35 for the sightseeing deck. Okay, moving on to the section CC, we can see that there's entrance. The other entrance for to the historical park, and the open spaces for the visitors. The open spaces, and in that open spaces there is a net playground for the children to enjoy, with the concept of tin dredge ships, and at the right side, there's a 35 cafe. Okay, this cafe, the visitors can come from the historical park and then sit around and enjoy the view of 35 while having some meals. Okay, I think that's all for the second board. Moving to the third board.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for the last board, which is the planting concept, we came up with the ecological planting. So we have the existing vegetation preservation such as pokok akasia and kelapa sawit. The next one is the ethnobotanical vegetation, because we want to increase the functionalities to the users such as pokok nipah and the tropical fruit trees such as pokok rambutan and the pokok mangga. The third one is the native vegetations, because we want to replant back to enhance the genus loci of the place such as pokok nipah and also pokok riung batu. And the last one is the riparian corridor vegetation, because we want to remediate and rejuvenate the water quality together with increasing the visual quality such as pepperreed, bulrush, weeping willow and the pokok keradam. And then for the hardscape concept, we came up with the rustic dredge, because we want the street furnitures to resemble the tin dredge, Tanjung Tuanan tin dredge number 5. Okay, so our planting plan, we just wanted to show where we wanted to put each of the proposed plantings on our side, and then same goes to hardscape plan, where we want to put each of our street furnitures such as wooden trash bin, wooden lamppost, wooden decking, rustic dining furnitures, rustic bench and the rustic mini sculptures of tin dredges. And then lastly is the section where we wanted to show the lake trails, how the sightseeing deck will look like, and how the riparian planting corridor work together with the decking and the water-based recreational activity, such as riding the boat along the lake. And then lastly is the reflection of the design proposal. So after reflecting and seeing the strength and the limitation of our proposed design, we found out that some of the strength, we have the proposed historical park provides green space for the Tanjung Tualang residents. And then the proposed glamping site helps to improve the TT5 Drake site as the tourist attraction and together enhance its surrounding by the restoration method. And then the proposed decking also along the lake create a more interactive environment between the users and the context of the site as it increases the permeability of the harmony of the users around the TT5 Drake. And however, some of the limitations is that the elements of the historical are challenging to add to the surrounding landscaping because the TT5 dredge itself act as the dominant historical elements. So and then the last limitation is that the activity related with the historical site is limited and the dredge have its own carrying capacity where it limits the interesting space for the visitors to have any activity in the ship. So that's all from me and Azim. Thank you so much Dr. Kadila for teaching us for this semester, and I wish nothing but the best for you. And so thank you so much.